it doesn't matter as much how good your mobility is. If you keep that stage control against Yoshi, you'll be able to hold your ground. Looking like we don't have a Yoshi, though, this time around.
F's in chat, no K rule.
F's in chat, no K rule. We got the Enzo Paolo out here, a character that he is not new to playing. He's been playing this character for a while now. I personally played his Palutena at the first Platinum Star Online, which was months ago at this point, back in, like, April, I believe it was.
It's around there.
Yeah, around there, something like that. So he's definitely not new to Palutena. I mean, he's definitely, like... from what I've seen of his Palutena, I would want to say it's unorthodox, but it's really not. He's a little flowcharty with it, which isn't a bad thing. Palutena's flowchart is just, you know, really, really good. You know, she gets a raw hit on you, she gets a grab, you nair, you get all that damage, nair, up air, get all that damage, get you off stage and get you by the ledge, force you to ledge with explosive flame, and then down tilt back airs you until you die. You know, Palu's flowchart is pretty good, and he has picked up a pretty good flowchart, Palu. The question is, will he have to think outside of the box to fight Sensei?
I know Sensei has done like relatively well, at least offline, against some pretty good Palus. I remember seeing him go 2-1 against Jen one weekly, losing, but you know, taking that game, taking him to last stock. So no, it's unheard of to hear of anyone that doesn't know the Palu matchup, given how prominent it is. But against someone like Snake, or playing a character like Snake, who has been heard of to really detest this matchup, he's certainly experienced with it.
Yeah, Snake has that up tilt, takes the stock. Yeah, Snake players are Snake players do not like Palu. They like, this character is just so good at breaking Snake's zone really easily. Her damage output is low-key more consistent than Snake's, at the very least in this matchup. You know, like, Snake is so good at dealing damage if you don't know how to deal with his neutral, don't know how to jump around grenades and whatnot. Palu, you know, when she gets up close with Snake, it's not that dangerous. For so many other characters, it is, especially when he has grenade out. But Palu's, Palu's like sort of a jack of all trades in terms of a top tier. Like, her footsie game is really, really good. You know, spacing as that back air tilts the stock. You know, like spacing with a -3 forward air, you know, an invincible back air, all that stuff. Those kind of options.
Have a forward air -3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, my dude. That's amazing. It's part of what makes it amazing in this matchup as well, is that she can actually afford to get close to Snake. And then when she lands one like you did right there, you're going to take 40 for it. He was able to get such clean damage because of that. Not to mention the invincibility on back air and dash attack are pretty good for negating and getting around grenades. And then if Snake decides to, you know, hang back and play a zoning game, what are you going to do? Palu has an auto reticle, which, you know, if she hangs back, is a really good zoning tool for her to space from a distance, you know, because it does a lot of damage. And then when that isn't in play, she's got explosive flame, which she can space in multiple ways. It's like everything that really makes Snake good in like other matchups, the fact that you don't have these long-range burst options against him where you can just easily break his zone, Palu just does. And then when you put yourself in the cipher right there, back air is strong enough to be able to break through it. Yeah, I gotta say, man, I really don't think this matchup is good. I don't think it's impossible for Snake under any, you know, circumstance or regards, but I definitely think it's one of his worst ones, and if you ask any Snake player, they'll likely tell you the same.
Yeah, characters like Palu and ZSS that can just kind of beat around a lot of Snake's inputs and make a lot of Snake's comfort inputs, stuff like grenade and C4, and the stuff that really makes the matchup difficult, and avoid his early kill potential, stuff that hits you and just kills you, like up smash and up tilt, F tilt. You kind of have a hard time as Snake. Like, those evasive characters and that can edge guard him potently are just some of the worst. And while he can exploit some characters in other ways, like Joker can do that, but Joker also can get edge guarded pretty easily once you drop down a grenade or something like C4 and interrupt tether. But like characters like Palutena, characters like ZSS, they just kind of make Snake, they make his tools feel pointless.
Yeah, honestly, you want to know what they are? Snake like sort of creates Snake just sort of creates like a sort of no man's land. Like, it just creates just this whole stage full of like C4s and grenades and whatnot. And Palutena is sort of just like characters like Palutena and ZSS are just like jet fighters. They just fly above all of it. They just don't care, and then they just drop their bombs, and they ignore pretty much the whole situation that Snake worked so hard to really create. That's honestly one of the best ways I feel like I can make an analogy for this matchup. Oh, and there's one neutral air. Not able. It was actually a little too low of percent right there for the last hit. He wasn't able to get it out in time. Oh, and the reflector, which I completely forgot Palutena has as well.
God, that reflector is
That's also a big one. Oh, God! Woo! Clean.
No air dodges here. No.
Oh my god, just not spacing it properly is Sensei right there, and Enzo is going to take that to the bank, man. Very early stock for him right there. And this is the rough part, man. It's like, there are very few characters, I mean, actually that's not true. They're like, Snake is probably the worst character in the game to be down against. When you're down against him and he's up, it's literally his whole job to make it like impossible for you to be able to bring that back to him, but just making the zone so hard to break and making himself so hard to approach with all these grenades and C4s and whatnot. But when you have an early lead against him, and if you're able to snuff out these options off stage against him, like when you get Snake off stage and up in the air, which is just about as exploitable a position that he can put himself in, when you have an invincible back air and an up air that stays out forever and kills like you're seeing right there, it's just so rough for him, man. Like even like Snake, the thing is, you know, like it's said that Snake's advantage is as good as his disadvantage state is as bad, and Palutena is out here really trying to exploit that for you all. I mean, you get Snake up in the air with the Cypher once, which sometimes from the ledge is literally the character's only option, and he's just gonna wait to put out, and Palutena's just gonna wait to put out an up air. Easy peasy. My god, that killed, man. I was gonna say there's a body bag, and it looks like it is. That back air, easy 3-stock. Only a minute and a half on the part of Enzo with his Palutena over one of New Jersey's finest Snake players. Enzo showing you that he is, in fact, a top-level player out here, showing you what he can do with multiple characters, getting to top 16 with K-Rool, and then finishing off one of Jersey's best Snakes with his Palutena. Let's take a look at this again. Air dodge, done.
No,
right in the dumpster. Here's the second stock.
A lot of Sensei's, like, more risky habits are coming to play, because even when he's trying, even at a disadvantage, when he's trying to get into that aggressive mindset and start putting off that damage,
look at how back here. I'm sorry, I hate to cut you off, but I mean, just look at this again. This is so important right here, and another reason I think Palutena wins this matchup. Oh, there's a grenade? Screw you. Palutena just doesn't even care about that either, mate. Snake can just